My sister just texted me asking if I want a Pop-Tart.
And you said yes, right?
Yeah, of course I said
obviously.
yes. Yeah, obviously. I hope it's oh, frosting. Everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle. The guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing. Cinnamon is the worst Pop-Tart podcast.
Is there a cinnamon flavor? Do you mean brown sugar?
Brown sugar.
No. Brown sugar is amazing.
No.
I would take brown sugar over some more.
All right. I think both of those are inferior to your classic strawberry.
Well, yeah, the berry ones with frosting are the classics for a reason, but I like a nice brown sugar.
Brown sugar, after a certain point, it just tastes like burning.
How many are you eating?
All of them. You 1 box per serving, right?
The entire box.
We used to buy them from Costco, where you'd buy it. You know, you'd get like 20. So you're eating brown sugar Pop-Tarts for breakfast for a month straight.
Just give them to me, man. I love the brown sugar.
Well, I don't buy them anymore.
I know. I'm
an adult.
I haven't had Pop-Tarts in years and years and years and years, mostly because of the diabetes. But my sister and I were talking about them a while back, and so I have a feeling she's buying them because now she's craving them. Have you ever buttered a Pop-Tart?
No.
Toast it and then you butter it.
Like you butter the side that doesn't have.
Yeah.
That just sounds
fat
like
kid stuff right there. Try it, guys. Try it at home. All right, this first ad.
It was sent by David Lucas.
This thing is fun. It has something that a lot of weird listings that we get don't have, and they should have if they want to sell.
A little je ne sais quoi.
It has a story. It has a hook. It has something to grab your attention.
One of a kind, handmade, entirely aluminum electric hollow body amazing guitar. The neck was made from an old piece of aluminum electrical bus bar that was once in use at the Mystic Power Plant in Boston, Massachusetts. When in use, the neck would have had around 17
here we go.
kilovolt amps, I guess. I don't know, of electricity running through it.
A significant amount of electricity.
Is a kilovolt amp a unit?
What is the
volt amps are a thing.
Is it a kVA?
Right? It's a kVA, so it'd be 17. That would be a kilovolt. So I'm assuming it's kilovolt amps. Running through it, powering thousands of homes and businesses in Boston. The guitar body is welded together and the neck bolted on, which is a solid one piece. So it's quite heavy, about 14 pounds, but it's the only one you will ever see. There will never be another. True, one of a kind.
A kVA is worth 0.85 kilowatts.
Oh, great. That's very helpful.
Right. So it's just a different term for something, a measurement that's
but it has to mean
close.
Something.
Yeah, electricity is magic. We're never going to figure this out on a guitar podcast. Are you kidding me? But this thing is kind of interesting looking.
Yeah, it's kilovolt amps.
Okay. I love the idea that the neck is made out of a piece of metal that has been conditioned electrically by having unlimited amounts of units of electricity passing through it for who knows how long, feeding electricity, feeding power into thousands of homes in the Boston area. He did say Boston, right?
Boston.
In Boston. Like that is a story. That is something to attach ideas and feelings and just this dramatic sense to. Like, this thing was in between every single home in this area. Like, there's something magical about that. There's mojo to that. As far as the rest of the guitar goes, it's like, oh, it's interesting, I guess.
I just realized it has one of those dumb fire bridges.
Yeah, you don't notice it because there's so many other things to look at first. Also, he wants $17,000 for it.
Well, it's one of a kind. It's so one of a kind, it's got a Misfit sticker on it and a Bratz or whatever. I don't know what that girl is.
Yeah, the stickers on here tell me that this is not worth $17,000 and the weird novelty flame Telecaster bridge too. It looks like an interesting piece though. Something that I was saying to Steve is I don't believe, because the neck looks clean. If the person who milled the person who milled the neck and made it into a guitar neck cannot be the same person who welded together this body, because they are two completely different qualities of work. The body is fairly rough in a very high school metal shoppy sort of way.
It's weird. I mean, obviously, I guess it's the kind of thing where maybe the seam work, I'm not a welder by any means. The seam work looks really clean, but there is a
and the cut of the body is rough.
There's a visual problem that exists in so far that the neck looks very shiny, but then the body is brushed aluminum, and it's like you should have polished everything.
The neck looks like a commercial product.
Yeah.
The body does look homemade.
The neck looks so good that it makes me think that this story is fabricated.
Well, this guitar has been fabricated, Steve.
From aluminum.
Right. And the stickers are not helping. The stickers are not helping this listing at all. He does have pictures of it without the stickers. And then when the stickers are gone, then you really notice the novelty bridge. Yeah. So the stickers were helping in a way. They were helping distract from that situation. But I love the story. I love this idea of making a guitar neck out of a piece of metal that had bazillions of volts.
Mm-hmm. Bazillions?
Yeah, I can't guesstimate.
17,000.
Right, but over the life of this piece of metal, who knows how much electricity passed through this piece of metal? Right. It is finely conditioned for pure heavy metal electric rock and roll. This neck, it only knows electricity.
How would you describe this headstock shape? Is it PRS?
PRS-like? In that direction, but not really. It's got that scoop almost in that kind of Peavey axis sort of way.
Yeah.
I want to say that there's Washburn headstock similar to that, but I honestly don't mind the headstock. It's a decently generic, attractive 3x3 headstock that I don't have any problems with that headstock shape. I think it works with the body well enough as well. And, honestly, the big heavy welds on the edges of the body, as a style, I don't hate that.
Like I said, it's just the way, something about the way the top, like you said, the cut looks weird.
The cut of the shape is wonky.
The brushed aluminum, they should have gone full
chrome.
It should be the either the Matt Bellamy Manson, he had one that was all chromed out, or the Joe Satriani that's all chromed out.
Right.
Just go all in, chrome it all out.
I haven't done a ton of working on metal, but I know that I could have made the top of this guitar pretty shiny with a buffing pad and some fine grit sandpaper.
I couldn't, but
it's just the neck is so slick and mirror polished, and then the body is so rough. And there's nothing wrong with a rough look for the body, as far as the texture of it goes. But I think it would look so much better if it was polished to a chrome. It'd also look a lot better if the shape of the body was cut to be a little less wonky, I suppose.
These stickers are just so random. There's a Boris Karloff Frankenstein on here. There's a Superman logo. There's a Lethal Angel.
Right.
There's some music notes.
It looks like a high schooler decorated it, But one of the stickers is retro reflective, so it's the brightest thing in all the pictures.
Yeah. There's a Iron Cross.
Also, this guy wanted $17,000 for this. The pictures in the window, that's a neat concept, but the lighting is all wrong. It's making the whole guitar look so dark. It's hard to...
That's not a Boris Karloff. That's, is that supposed to be the
I don't know.
Norman Bates?
Oh, I don't know.
It looks like Norman Bates.
Maybe. This guy's trying to be scary. He's got the Grim Reaper on there, dude. This is an edgy guitar, man.
Also, we know this guy's Native American.
For high voltage rock and roll.
He's got a chief. He's got a skull with a chief.
He definitely has a skeleton, judging by these stickers. This is someone who very clearly wants to represent that he has an internal skeleton,
Though the
An endoskeleton is what it's called.
The little whatever vampire high school or whatever girl sticker on here. Maybe we got this all right. This is a woman selling this.
This is a lady's guitar. This is for women. Finally,
guitar. Yeah.
Finally, a guitar made for a woman.
A guitar designed for a woman.
We're not making fun of guitars designed for women. We're making fun of this guitar. I don't know, man. I don't think this thing actually sold for $17,000. It looks like it did sell, or the listing was taken down. That feels like a feeler price to me, where he was trying to just see if there was any interest. I couldn't tell you what it's worth because I don't dabble around with aluminum stuff that much. Mm-hmm. But it's not worth nothing.
Hey, at least
if you don't like the novelty bridge, you can swap that so easy.
At least he offered free shipping.
Hey,
they offered free shipping. And I guess that's all I have to say about this.
I don't know what a fair price is for this. I would guess the neck is worth upwards of $400 or $500. Mm-hmm. The body, that becomes incredibly subjective. We don't know the weight.
Well, we know altogether it's about 14 pounds.
The body is so rustic with the heavy bead on the weld. I almost feel like this deserves a different neck. Like you want a rustic, like imagine like kind of like a open grained rosewood neck on this.
Some kind of trussardy thing.
Right. It needs some contrast against the rough metal, and it needs a rustic neck of some sort against that. That's my personal call. What do you think, Steve?
Sounds good to me.
There we go. It's a consensus.
A
consensus. That's right. I forgot how to say the word in the middle of it.
Here's my final thought on this guitar. Do you have any final thoughts? You done?
I already did my final thought.
Here's my final thought on this guitar. If you have $17,000 laying around and you see this guitar, what you should do instead is head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you could support the show for 17,000 months with that $17,000.
Nice segue, Steve.
But you can go over and support this program at the end, or when you do it, we'll announce your name on the show. We'll add your name to the ending credits. Mm-hmm. I think you already committed to this. When you do the Patreon funded demo, I'm going to
scroll them.
You're going to run the scroll on that as well. If it goes fast, then it's a super scroll, not to hashtag don't sue us Marvel. But yeah, at the $5 level, I'll send you some pics and some stickers someday. And at the $10 level, I'll send you some pics and some stickers and some exclusive stickers and some exclusive pins. And if I have any swag from NAMM and Gearfest and other things still laying around, or if you're like a size extra large, maybe I'll send you a shirt.
There you go.
That I've got. If I have some.
If he has them. Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go.
If you support the show,
thanks to the Patreons. If you
it.
see a Patreon on the street, shake their hand, pat them on the back, give them a hug, thank them for doing everything that they do to make the world a better place by supporting content like this that you love.
Also supporting the show. This is the last week of Sweetwater's band and orchestra instrument rental promotion. It's back to school time. If your kid needs a band or orchestra instrument, you don't want to deal with your local mom and pop. You don't know. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're bad. You never know.
Or maybe there isn't one.
But you know with Sweetwater, it's going to be great. They're going to support you. You're going to have your sales engineer that's going to be able to help you out through the whole process.
It's going to be high quality gear that's well taken care of. It's rent to own. If you keep it forever, eventually you'll just own it. You'll just be like, oh, this is my oboe. Here's my oboe that I learned how to play. Mm-hmm. And now I have it forever because I rented it to own. I didn't know, I wasn't ready to commit to buying an oboe, but I have it now because I rented it to own.
Yep.
That's right. They got oboes, they got trombones, they got tubas, they got French horns, they got Italian horns, they have German horns, they have Spanish horns, they have British horns, they have Icelandic horns.
I think you're just making stuff up now.
Canadian horns. They have horns from every nationality. Check it out. Link down below.
Somebody is going to try to like go to Sweetwater and look for this.
Oh, come on.
They're not going to find it. They're going to complain.
This parody, guys. Parody. This is jokes.
They're going to complain to Sweetwater about it, and then Sweetwater's going to send us a cease and desist to stop telling people that they sell German horns and Italian horns and British horns and Spanish horns.
Right. Mexican horns.
This week's episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio. Right here we have a classic Tonal Recall.
Highly valuable
red
and
knob.
desirable.
This is the red knob. This is the second version of the Tonal Recall.
This is a red knob modded Tonal Recall. That's right. I've got one. No big deal.
You know, this past month I re-uploaded the Tonal Recall demo to our Facebook page. I forgot that I am in that demo.
Oh yeah, you are.
I was in the skit at the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Steve.
I did a fun little intro where it's all Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall.
Yeah.
And I made the whole thing all about the pedal and him trying to get the pedal.
It's been go ahead over to Chase Bliss. Of course, they don't make this anymore. It's been kind of superseded by the Thermae and by all of the other little delay machines that they have.
This was their deluxe Memory Man style analog delay, and it's I'm not going to sell it. Don't make an offer.
Yeah.
I'll make an offer if you want, but it better cover my mortgage. Is all I'm saying.
Changing all your settings.
Oh no, my settings! Good thing it has presets, Steve, like all Chase Bliss pedals.
Head on over to chasebliss.com, get on their mailing list so you can find out when they have new products, and so you can also, they usually announce, I think, like, hey, we're gonna stop making this, so if you want one, now's the time.
I should start reposting my old like theatrical intros to TikTok, Instagram, etc.
Yeah,
that's what I should be doing. I've been trying to wait to like make some sort of big video where I show them all as like some sort of big thing. I just need to publish them.
It's been really
to social media.
It's been really fun to kind of go back, and like a lot of the stuff I'm posting are gas and goes. But with the animated stuff with Facebook, you have the option choose your frame. So sometimes I'll go through and like try to find the perfect frame.
Yeah. Follow the Facebook page.
Yeah.
If you want to.
If you want to see these.
Steve has been doing this experiment where he's uploading all the demo videos to Facebook proper, to the page. So it's hosted on the page. So if you want to trip down memory lane, or maybe a chance to see videos that you've never seen before that are super old, follow the Facebook page for 60 Cycle Hum.
Right now, I'm about halfway, I think, through 2016.
Wow. That's like first year of videos, I think. So that's all like gas and goes and stuff. Yeah.
There was like a few like 2014, 2015 videos.
Back
in 2015, you were doing like maybe one video a month.
Yeah.
So I'm up to the point where you were doing, I'm about to hit the smorgasbord.
Okay. That's when things start to really shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, have you done any where I'm on camera yet? Because all those early ones, I wasn't on camera. I don't remember.
I've done a bunch of gas and goes, but I've done the ones that we did. Like, I've actually gone through a bunch that you did with Ariel.
Oh yeah,
like the one I had uploaded yesterday was the.
Are we still in a sponsorship?
No, we're done.
Oh, okay, I'll take the banner down.
The Tonecraft Boost Mate.
Yeah.
Where you can run a microphone through. Allows you to run a microphone through guitar pedals with like the proper impedance.
Right. I still have that thing.
So that was like, and I also already uploaded the 3 videos that you and Ariel and I did, where I brought a guitar and he brought a guitar, and then we also did the PRS.
Man, the early days, man.
So I don't know if there's any ones that are like the fully you though. I'm not sure, because we have hit some of like the Titan KR1, but I don't know if you were on camera for that one.
That early in 2016
for like the Jetsons guitar.
Wow.
The airline Jetsons script. But like I said, I scrubbed through the animation to find like a cool screenshot, or I scrubbed through the skit to find a cool screenshot, but I don't go past it. Right. I'm not rewatching the whole thing. So go check them out.
Yeah. I've been playing the intro clip from this up here, so you saw what we're talking about. Maybe we'll dump some others in there. I'll use editing this video as an excuse to download a bunch of those so I can do stuff with them. All right.
This next ad was sent by Dave Santander. Who sent that first one? David Lucas.
We didn't say that? Sorry,
we
David
did,
Lucas.
We did say it.
Okay.
I just forgot. This is the...
I named this Twin Dragons. I should have named it... Oh, I named it Dragon Siblings. I should have named it Double Dragons. Yeah.
Idiot.
I know.
Fire.
I feel like a real idiot now.
Killer Christmas gift, or why not treat yourself for Christmas? 2 amazing guitars for one low price. Newly completed, 11/20/22. That's almost a year ago. Custom handcarved Fender Strat style and custom handcarved Fender Tele style built by me, using Fender and other quality parts.
Who are you?
Ever dream of owning this? Who are you? Is
Well, he said it was made by me.
Custom Scorpion guitars.
Okay.
Ever dream of owning a fantastic Strat and a killer Tele? Now's your chance. Without breaking the bank, these 2 warriors are ready to breathe fire into your next gig, and they don't just blow smoke while looking good. Both are killer pro built and ready to shred all night. Elliot is a fierce Strat style with mouse quiet Fender Gen 4 noiseless pickups, playing through CTS pots and a CRL 5-way switch, but the custom wiring doesn't stop there. Pot number 3 is a blender ready to mix the bridge pickup into the neck or neck and middle pick. That's kind of a cool idea. And the neck pickup into the bridge or bridge and middle pickup. Choose your poison, set your tone, and go to town. His partner is Elizabeth, a smoking hot Tele style custom setup in hand carved with a Fender Deluxe drive bridge and a Fender Tex-Mex Stratocaster bridge pickup in the neck position. Hey, I thought I patented that. She can handle anything from smoking blues to fiery rock. I'm so glad. Well, let me get all the way to the end before I say anything too positive. Both dragons have hand-carved alder bodies, custom painted by Seattle artist Anastasia Rudenko, along with maple neck sporting 10-inch radius rosewood fretboards, locking tuners, and specially modified Floyd's Rose locking nuts. Elliot is dressed in antique silver, while Elizabeth is gracefully adorned in antique bronze. Finally, this pair isn't shy. They come with all accessories and are ready, equipped, and set up to rock all night. While both are offered separately in other listings, here's your chance to own a pair of customs that will rule over any layer.
This is a lot of words for these, Steve.
Some other stuff, whatever. He's asking $2,700 for the pair.
Hey, I thought he said he wasn't going to break the bank.
Well, I mean, it's
a bit stiff. Like these, I think these look fine in a few ways. I think they look interesting in a few ways. I think they look not fine in a few ways as well. Like
I could kick this dragon's ass. Sorry, Elliot, you're going down.
I think the smoke with the names written is dumb. Like these would have looked like 80% cooler if he had skipped that part.
Yeah,
it looks like they were made.
It looks like chalk.
I like that you pronounce the L in chalk.
Well,
It looks like
said it that way.
It looks like these were gifts for his children, and they don't want them anymore. Here you go, Elliot. Here you go, Elizabeth.
Oh,
thanks,
yeah.
thanks,
That's
Dad.
sad.
Thanks, Dad. And now then they don't play them for a month, and he's like, I'm gonna sell them.
Even though he made them in November.
Yeah. Dad, we don't really play guitar. I built you these shredder guitars with Floyd Rose nuts for some reason.
Yeah, why would you put
It's because he didn't make the necks. It's because those are like Jackson necks or something like that.
Yeah, but with a Floyd Rose.
Neither of us can say Floyd, apparently.
Yeah. With the nuts on.
Yeah, I know.
How do you tune it?
And also with the nuts on, when you tighten those down, oftentimes you can push the strings out of tune because you're clamping down on a string. These don't have a Floyd Rose bridge on them, so there's no micro tuners to adjust for that. It's a bad and dumb thing to do, to put a Floyd Rose nut on a guitar that does not have a Floyd Rose. Like it's not a $2,700 for the pair design decision that this person made. I know that Steve says he can kick the dragon's ass. I think that's a Steve thing where Steve thinks about...
Look at this dragon. He's like wants his ass kicked. He's like, kill me.
This is a Steve thing. I don't see that when I look at this dragon.
That's what I see.
He just looks a little dorky. He doesn't look like he wants his ass kicked.
He looks like... No, I'm saying like he's like begging to be killed. I'm not saying he's like a dork. I'm saying like he's like
put me out of my misery, please.
He's like He's been alive for 1,000 years, and the guy who carved this guitar is keeping him alive.
This dragon flies straight towards every knight that he can find, hoping that they'll slay him.
And then
Sir, don't you think the age of the dragons has ended? Bring it to an end for me, please.
I think you make some good points. You know, this is basically 1,300 and change per guitar.
Right.
All the hardware, at least the hardware on the Telecaster looks like it's all from Geiger, so it's all stuff that you can get on Amazon for like pretty cheap.
These are parts instruments that the guy did a carving on, and I think he should be proud of the carving.
I think the carving is solid.
Even though Steve thinks he can kick that dragon's ass.
Even though I'm dunking on this dragon, I do think the other dragon looks good.
We've certainly seen much worse on this show. We've seen so much worse than this. This is competent. Like it's not what I would expect out of like a Fender Master Builder or something like that.
Sure.
But for someone who's doing this at home, likely, like I think those are fun. I think there's a theme there. I think these two guitars definitely need to stay together. They need to stay brother and sister. They need to stay double dragons together.
Taking the pickup cover off of a Strat pickup, presumably in order to fit it into a Telecaster pickup ring, is a choice.
Yeah.
All the like chrome or bronze hardware is pretty interesting.
I think that fits the theme though.
Yeah, I think it works. Now he says the Floyd Rose locking nuts are specially modified. I'm not sure how. Oh, and these have locking tuner. Okay.
You got locking nut, locking tuners.
They just a lot like. So I started to say this earlier. Aside from saying that the Elizabeth guitar is a smoking hot Tele style custom setup, and then later saying that it is gracefully adorned, I appreciate that it's not like super cringy. Like he does earlier refer to these, say that these guitars are two warriors. And he maintains that respect for these instruments throughout the rest of the ad.
Right.
Like these are guitars that are like warriors in a more realistic sense and not in like the Dungeons and Dragons. Somehow the titanium bikini protects you more than the bronze full body suit.
Sure. Like if I was in a band that was like medieval themed,
these could be cool.
No, these would be totally cool. They're like
except that they're named Elizabeth and Elliot.
Once you get rid of the smoke and the child names on them, like imagine this just kind of a matte, either wood or black with a little bit of wood poking through. Like it's kind of a subdued take on doing this sort of thing. Like we've seen a lot of over the top stuff, but this is going to blend into a stage. It's going to blend into the background, but it's still going to give you that kind of like medieval sort of flair that I think the hardware all works with it. Normally I would probably scoff a little bit at like the aged bronze sort of look.
No, I think all the aesthetic choices work.
Something that is bugging my eye a lot though is that the headstock on the Tele style one, the tuners are all they're lined up so that they're vertically down.
I don't understand.
They're supposed to follow a right angle off of the edge of the headstock, and so it looks really weird to me. But then in my mind, I'm like, functionally, it's probably easier to tune it that way with a reversed headstock, but it is catching my eye weird.
No, it definitely
it just looks wonky. So there's a bunch of detail issues here that there should not be on a $1,300 guitar or $1,350. I
think if the pair was $1,500, so $750
for both.
That to me, that's a price where
it would feel like, realistic.
Okay, like I get it, I get you, I hear you.
Someone who really wants that look is going to be like they're going to suck it up.
This is a labor of love from a skilled artisan. It's just not a.
I'm not ready.
$1,400
without knowing more about the builder. I'm not ready to call them an artisan because
I'm saying the carving part. Right, I think is.
I think a skilled and talented a hobbyist is the impression that I'm
A
getting.
hobbyist carver?
A skilled and talented hobbyist.
A George Washington carver.
Yeah, this is full of peanut butter, Steve. I bet with a little peanut butter and a damp rag, you could rub off the children's names off of these.
You think that's what you think those are children, like his children or something?
That's the vibe that I get. Because
Yeah.
I think these were for kids. Like that, to me, that's what I see. Is I see like this is a matching pair of guitars for kids, and I'm choosing in my own narrative that I've come up with that it's totally fine, it's totally chill. The kids were just like, oh, I'm not really interested. Thank you, Dad. We really appreciate how hard you worked on this, and that there's not some sort of terrible, devastating story behind him selling these.
I mean, I think him selling these is as
It's
he seems excited to sell it though.
right. I'm betting that he didn't name them after kids, or they're not gifts for kids named Elliot or Elizabeth. I think he was sincerely thinking that it would be cool to name the guitars and put the names on the front of them.
Yeah.
At least it's a boy and a girl. It's not all just like, oh, this one's Lizzie because I named it after my third girlfriend and she knew how to rock and roll.
That's what I've already. I already made this point.
Okay. I'm not catching that vibe at all. Like either this guy has a narrative about these dragons in his mind, and he's like, they have names and people need to know their names, or these were gifts for his children, and his children just were kind of like, thanks, but no thanks, Dad, but we really appreciate you and we love you.
What was the dragon in Pete's dragon named Elliot?
Yes, that was an Elliot. I can't think of any dragons named Elizabeth. But I could see why Elizabeth would fit with Elliot. So does that tell us that he named Elliot first, and then he was like, I got to come up with a girl's name for the other one.
But the fact that the two names are like kind of similar, like they got that starting L,
right,
is what
Elliot,
makes you want to think that they're kids.
Is Elliot the name of the dragon?
I don't know. I haven't seen Pete's dragon
it's Pete's
in like
dragon.
30 years.
Pete is the boy.
Excuse me.
I thought there was an Elliot in there.
Pete's dragon.
Elliot is also the boy from E.T. But that's not a dragon. That's a little turd alien.
Wait, hold on.
What if aliens are real and they are E.T.? Like
apparently the dragon's name is Lampy.
What? Who are we getting Elliot from?
No, there is an Elliot.
Who is it?
Hold on. I need Wikipedia to bail me out because there is also a character named Lampy who's played by Mickey Rooney.
Right. Okay, so that's Lampy.
Yeah.
All right. What's the name of the dragon? Yeah, it's a person. It's a human
okay.
person.
Do-do-do-do-do.
He's a lamplighter, you know?
Pete flees with the assistance of an unseen force he calls Elliot.
Ah, he calls it Elliot.
So Elliot is revealed to be a
dragon.
cartoonish green dragon that can turn invisible.
Look at how much time we filled on our guitar podcast talking about Pete's
So Lampy
dragon.
is the lighthouse keeper.
You know, I'm not someone who's a big Disney lover, but I do have fond memories
Are
of
you
watching.
a big Disney fighter?
I'm a Disney fighter for sure. I have fond memories of watching Pete's Dragon, and I'm sure it probably doesn't hold up to my childhood memories. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to find it and watch it. Do you think it's on Disney Plus?
Probably.
It could be one of those ones where we're like, oh, we're not going to release it from the vault, even though vaults don't really need to exist for this technology anymore.
Apparently, they also remade it.
Yeah, but that was garbage.
In 2016.
Yeah, they tried to make it like a tween drama.
It's written by David Lowery. I don't know who that is.
David Lowery from Camper Van Beethoven?
No, I think it's a different one.
Different David Lowery.
David Lowery that...
from the seasoning packets?
Yeah, actually.
The steakhouse?
No, he did that movie, The Green Knight.
Which one was that?
The one that was from a couple years ago that that was supposedly really good.
Really good?
Yeah, with Dev Patel. This one.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
And he also did Peter Pan and Wendy, the one that everybody hated.
So he struck out 2 times, but the third one is a charm.
Well, no, the Green Knight was before Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh, uh-oh. He's back in the ditch. Sorry, dude. Sorry, David Lowery. All right, let's get back to talking about these guitars. I'm done talking about them. I
done
agree.
talking about 'em too,
I agree
Ryan.
with you. Half price on this would put it in the realm of like someone's going to be interested for sure. Sometimes I wonder if people make listings with high prices just because they want to show off the thing that they made and document it, which would be a creative way of doing that, I suppose.
They want to get a price.
Then maybe like test the waters and see if anyone's interested or something like that. But yeah, buff off the names, and I think these are cool. They maybe even think about hitting them with your own stain or a quick rattle can to get a different look if you want. You're not going to use the locking function on the nut. You shouldn't. You don't have to tighten it all the way down to use those nuts. So they still will function as nuts.
That's what makes me wonder when it says they're like custom modified. Like maybe there's something in there where it's like you have the nuts on there, but they don't actually do anything.
You just loosen them a bit. Like, that's fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe there's something about them that prevents you from actually tightening them all the way down.
Yeah, there's a couple wonky details, but I think they're cool enough. All right. What next, Steve?
What's new, man? You got anything new?
What do I have
Anything coming up on the channel that we should know about?
I mean, kids are back in school. So now
Finally.
now
you can dedicate all of your time to this channel.
the last week of summer break, it started becoming very, very apparent to me. Like I was really feeling just how much the kids interrupt workflow, throughout the day. So I've been looking forward to this time, even though we recorded this before. This is actually actualized into reality.
Right.
Like this is still the week before they go to school, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I hate to say that because I enjoy my kids. I love spending time with them during summer break. And this past summer, I've used the fact that we had all those the Sweetwater videos to kind of pad out my week and give me a free day throughout the week, so that we could like go to the beach and do some fun things and stuff. Tomorrow we're going to go to a water park because the Sweetwater little videos that we made.
The Sweetwater Park.
Sweetwater Park. Go down the Sweetwater water slide. Like I've been enjoying summer break, but man, I also I'm really looking forward to just being able to hunker down and have quality work time from 8 o'clock to 2:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
It's like shooting is one thing. Like the things have flipped because it used to be shooting was impossible because they were young and they would just cry randomly and scream and throw fits randomly. And it's like, great, I've got to take a break in the middle shooting something and to go manage and help with a screaming infant. Now it's flipped where it's like, if I'm in here, they leave me alone. I can shoot in here just fine. But editing has become hard with the kids because they see me sitting at the desk and it's just all day like, Dad, can you make me this thing? Dad, can you pour me a cup of water even though I know how to do it? Dad, I'm, Dad, can you help me find a show? Dad, like all this, like... Yeah. And it's like it's all cats in the cradle, heartbreaking stuff where I feel awful. Like I'm making light of it now. It's like, yes, I do want to come play with you. Yes, I do want to go with you and Mom too.
Your kid's like, can you pour me a cup of milk? You already know how to do that. Yeah, but just imagine that someday you won't be I won't be around for you to pour a cup of milk.
I was just thinking that like at some point in our life, it's the last time that our parents pour a glass of milk for us and we don't know that it's happening when it happens,
And you're just like, kid, it was last week. Shut the hell up.
If kids were smart, if kids were like emotionally smart, they could manipulate me so hard. Oh my God, Dad, this could be the last time you pour me a glass of milk. That's true. I could die any moment.
You're right. I got diabetes. It's real bad. It's looking bleak.
Oh, it's not that bad. I'm managing it. Come on.
I don't know.
I got at least another 3 or 4 years in me. But you never know. You never know. I'm gonna be.
You had to leave the house to go buy dinner tonight. Usually I do it on my way in. You had to go do it. You could have gotten hit by a truck.
Yeah.
You had to cross Mesa Boulevard. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah. All I wanted was a Pepsi. I could, probably get hit by a bus anyways. Like. But that's my what's new is looking forward to working, which is a
bizarre thing
boring thing to look forward to.
You're really looking forward to participating in our capitalistic society.
I'm looking forward to working efficiently so I have a better use of my time. So I can have more time to do things that I like to do here and there, have some fun. and quiet. What's new with you, Steve?
I don't know. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
I went to a doctor finally.
It's not that nothing happened. It's that like you actually don't know.
Speaking of,
no one will tell you what's new.
Speaking of diabetes, I got blood drawn yesterday, and so whenever I should have the results back by the time this publishes, but it's the first time I've gotten a blood test in like 3 years. So I'm real looking for 2 years. 2 years, I guess.
Maybe you'll join me in the D Club.
Yeah. I figure I probably have to have a couple blood tests that look real bad, but. Unless it's like
you
real bad.
You have to have a place to start so you can impress the doctors with how much you can fix it.
You mean how?
I'm going to eat 3 sticks of celery this week.
Well, I already told the PA, I go, the last time I got my blood drawn was like 2021. And at the time, the doctor was like, well, yeah, it's not looking great, but like you should like, you're on a bad path, but it's not too late. You should just try like, oh, you like running? Like you should just try running like once a week. And like, maybe like instead of having 2 beers when you go like for happy hour, just try having 1 beer.
So now you're down from 6 to 5.
And
he took his advice as 1 less literal.
And like and then all like that kind of stuff. Right. And I told the physician's assistant, I go, that was 2021. I think like, since then I've gained 30 pounds.
Right.
I was like, it's friggin' COVID, man. Like the whole time. And then with the move, I'm just like,
oh yeah. You got to move and you've got a much more intense commute now. Like that's a recipe for
I spend probably 2.5 to 3 hours a day just sitting because I have no other option.
Right.
When I get into the office, I probably should use the standing desk the entire time I'm in the office.
Or you should get a standing car.
But my legs are so weakened by all the time I spend in my car that I can't stand for that long anymore.
Your legs are weakened?
Yeah, I can't stand for 6 straight hours. You're not supposed to with a standing desk.
Right. You're supposed to have one of those bouncy balls.
You're supposed to like stand for like an hour and then sit for an hour.
I want a lay down desk, honestly.
I'm really interested in seeing this blood work. I'm like a little nervous about it,
but you're also feeling a little nerdy about it, aren't you? Like you want to know.
I want to know. I want to see the numbers. I want to see how much they have, or if they haven't changed, and be like, yeah, genetics. But then I know my mom was like nearly vegetarian,
right?
Was pre-diabetic at one point, and they were like, yeah, it's because you eat too much white rice.
That'll do it. I know you're gonna be like, well, what kind of sodium are they referring to? That sort of nerdery. Yeah. Because one kind is like this bad, and the other one's like double bad. That I mean, like I know how you look at things.
Yeah. Well, which cholesterol is it?
Right. Could I get a chart on this one stat, please?
But
they're like, sir, this is a Kaiser. Like we barely provide healthcare at all.
Otherwise,
you're lucky we actually tested it. We could have just made it up.
I'm not intentionally taking a break from buying gear, but like I'm kind of like at a point where, I've been at this point for a while where I have more stuff than I can use, and I'm not playing.
I think you've been buying
all.
I think you need to move out of your buying gear part of your life and move into the trying the gear you bought.
No, I do. That's exactly what it is. And so I think that, and I need to keep practicing. I think my ultimate goal, and I think I'm kind of far away from it, but I would really love to like bring back the gas and go. And like I think about that as like that's a thing.
You're not wrong.
If it's only needs to be like a minute or two long, if I can put together like 4 riffs, I could take over.
You want a gas and go?
I want a gas and go. But I also I say that out loud. I'm like, that's an 18-month project, I think, for me to get to where I need to be. But I need to start on it.
Yeah.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, Ryan.
I have thought about rebooting Gas and Go as a strictly social media format, vertical social media.
Oh yeah,
Reels and
that would
TikTok,
be cool.
And like a minute limit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, here's a pedal, here's riffs, and the way I would mix it up from the previous format is I would have like a close up of my face, so you'd see me like,
like a little cutout.
Yeah, like maybe a little bubble or something like that, and that would just be it. And I've been thinking about it as something I can charge for.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, because I've had 2 tiers of demo forever now. Right. I have a detailed demo, and then I have an unboxing. That's why you see so many unboxing formats on here. And it's about the amount of time that it takes me to do something. And a lot of people say like, oh, if you're selling packages, you need to have 3. You need to have a bottom, a top, and a middle. And most people will buy the middle, so that's like your money maker. But the top and the bottom are for like the fringes. It would be fun to have a fringe option. It's like you want to be on 60 Cycle Hum social media. Like this is 50% cheaper than the middle tier. Like the top tier is double the middle. Then this social media tier could be 50% of that.
See, the way I'm envisioning it is there being a super budget tier where it's like you don't get a timeline and Steve is going to play your demo. That's the super budget. Right. It's a super budget tier.
It's a 10-time multiplier on the price.
It's like a questionable player.
Listen.
And you might never get your video.
But listen.
But you want to increase the price.
We'll make it so expensive that you shoot it and I'll edit it, and neither of us will have to work for the rest of the month.
That's stupid.
It's a $100,000 demo, and then KDH can make a video about it, and Casino Guitars together. They can finally make a video together.
That's really my what's new.
And you can have this complete just like singularity of misinformation.
That's really been my what's new.
Let's not. Can we please?
Just how
I already said enough.
Mentally drained I am by
Steve has been watching
things on the internet.
KDH videos, and he's so frustrated by how much like just speculation and misinformation.
What it is like the Peavey thing is fascinating to me. Like the whole Peavey thing is fascinating.
Let's please not get into details. You and KDH should do a video together. That's what I would pay to see that.
I talked about it on the live stream.
You'll just detail him to death.
So just go watch that. Me and Philip Carter talked about it. That's all you need to know. Go watch it. Go watch that.
Not enough people watch those. It's because you're doing them Sunday mornings and everyone's brunching their guts out.
I guess. But it's the best time that I have.
I like that you guys do it. I think it's really neat. I think it's a really neat addition to the channel.
It's the time that I have.
Yeah, like Philip Carter is technically a part of the 60 Cycle Hum channel now. It's kind of cool.
And he's a super Gibson fanboy, which is makes it
apparently
super
he hates
hilarious.
White pick guards.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
All right,
I don't like Gibsons very much.
You know what?
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Philip.
You know what?
It's fine to like Gibsons.
Ryan, you got a box over there. Why don't you go grab those other string joys out of there?
Okay. Yeah, I just a quick thing.
Yeah,
I've realized that me coming around on Gibson and being like, oh, you know what? I really see like the value and quality in Gibsons that people people look for. I think it exclusively has to do with the fact that there's people in my life that I really enjoy and respect as people who are Gibson people. And I'm like, if they like them, there must be something good about them,
Yeah. This episode's brought to you by String Joy. And the reason I'm having Ryan go grab those is because I was going to segue, but then I realized there's no clean way to segue. Those are the String Joy orbiters. I keep wanting to call them the orbits. This is the orbiter and 10.5. This is what I have on my Gibson Les Paul Studio Lights.
You've been sucking up that sponsorship for so long, Steve. This is your first time throwing a set on a guitar, isn't it? What do you think?
I really like them. They play great. They play. That guitar already played fantastic. And as you like to say, these are strings. But they're hanging from the wall.
Right.
That guitar. So the real test is that guitar, for whatever reason, likes to rust strings, even though none of my other guitars do. So I'm putting these to the test. So far, I've had them on, I think, for a month, and they still play great. And they're just hanging on my wall.
And it's like that new style of coated string where it's like you can't really tell that it's coated. It just feels a little oilier.
Yep.
Like, I love that.
It's an enamel-coated, nickel-plated steel wrap wire.
I forget. It was that Enya guitar, that carbon fiber. I sold it to Robert McDowell. I assuming that he loves it because he really, really liked it the first week that I sent it to him. But it has elixirs on it. Mm-hmm. And they were doing the old school elixir thing where they're fraying and they're fuzzing in your picking area. And it's like this again. And I've got these on a bunch of guitars.
Yeah.
I can't remember which guitars have these on them, because they don't do anything like that.
Yeah,
they just feel slick.
They just feel new all the time.
They just feel kind of like they you can tell that they're not new after, you know, like 6 months of being on there,
right,
and being out in the elements. Like these aren't brand new strings, but they're still like smooth, slick, smooth metal that feel good on your fingers. You know.
Yeah. If you don't, you know, you're just coated strings aren't for you. You already know. You don't know because you haven't tried these ones. But if you don't want to try these ones, that's fine. They've got the signatures too. Just a classic nickel plated steel wrap string. So everything for any kind of player.
They're strings.
Electric and electric.
You use strings. I know you do because you're watching a guitar podcast, and no normal person would do this unless they used strings in their life. I like them. Steve likes them now.
We actually have at least a couple.
Use our link down below.
Play guitar.
Code HUM at checkout to save 10%, and it's an affiliate link down below, so it helps us out if you use it. We'll get a little bitty cut there.
Right.
Steve and I split it down the middle.
You want to talk about building a parts?
It's actually
caster?
a decent cut. It's actually not bad.
You want to talk about building a parts caster Telecaster?
Well, yeah, that was a topic suggestion here, Steve. So let me open that up so we can make sure that we get the question correct. We want to address all the fine details of this wonderfully nuanced comment that we got from Ralph M. Pacheco II. I'm assuming his father or mother were also named Ralph M. Pacheco the first. Talk about
probably his mother.
Probably. Talk about parts casters. Maybe start a budget Telecaster, but seeking out good body and neck. If not that, let's discuss the best taco shops. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about taco shops.
Yeah, the answer is Squire Classic Vibe. You buy 2 of them. You swap the parts to be what you want. Bam, best parts caster.
Make your own paranormal stuff at home. No one will know the difference. Buy 2 different Squires and swap the parts around. You can do it. Now, honestly, like really quickly, like that's my style of parts casting. Like buying a warmoth neck and stuff like that can be fun. And getting like a, this one's zebra wood. You can't buy that. I like making chimeras. I like buying a Dean and throwing a Squire neck on it and throwing the Dean neck on an Ibanez. And everything gets mixed up and you're throwing the Jaguar pickups into a Kramer and thing. Like that's the kind of like homebrew DIY stuff that I like. The parts casters that I like.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about taco shops. What do you look for in a taco shop, Steve?
A rating between 3 and 4.
Because you're too good, and it's like that's like tourist food.
You know, I'll say it's real tough, right? Like I love food. I want to call myself a foodie. I'm not like picky enough to be a foodie.
That is interesting to think about because
I don't think I'm skilled enough
on one side of being a foodie, like you cannot be picky. If you're a foodie, you can't be like, oh, I don't like sour cream. That's me. On the other side of foodie, you don't like anything.
Yeah, you don't dislike.
You are just fine picking every little thing. Like, oh, I thought that aioli was a little bit too much not enough oli.
Yeah,
you know
my problem is like you go like, you go to some place and they go like, you eat and you go like, oh wow, that was really good, and they go, what do you think of the aioli? I'm like, that wasn't mayonnaise. You sure that was just mayonnaise? Right?
Oh, that was Miracle Whip.
This is mayonnaise.
Everyone has. The vast majority of people care about food and have things they enjoy and don't enjoy about food. And all those things come into play when you're talking about taco shops and where we live. It's probably different where you live, but here taco shops are like the local fare. It is like it is there's mom and pops all over the place. There's chains as well. And it's stuff that you can't find nationally. We have our own things here, and they're all a little different, and everyone has their favorite thing where they're like, oh, they have the best red sauce over there. That place over there does the best quesadillas. That place, that's the place to get California burritos. Like everyone has their little thing. So this is going to be hyper local geography stuff, but let's do one each. Actual favorite taco shop.
I mean, it's the same thing
in the area.
It's been the same thing for years.
Lolita's.
I have their hoodie. I wear it all winter long. It's Lolita's. I grew up on that stuff. It tastes like home.
There you go.
That's what I would say. It tastes. People, the prices have gone up and this and that. Yeah, but it still tastes like home.
Yeah. I am gonna blow up a spot that I've thought about filming it to show people and talking about it in local food groups, but I actually don't want it to get popular.
Oh my gosh.
Because then I won't be able to go. I have found my favorite Mexican food restaurant, my favorite taco shop, I think, because it does remind me of like the way taco shops were more in my area in my teen years. Like the food like kind of hits that a little bit better. Like Cotijan locally has gone downhill a little bit.
Sure.
Like it's not doing what it used to be when it was like an Alberto's.
Yeah.
This taco shop is a food truck parked at the landfill. You have to go through the gates of the landfill where the way station, but you can go around the side. And it's only open when the landfill's open, obviously. It's legit good. It's like legitimately good.
Is that the entrance like off Convoy?
Yes, on Convoy. And I'm only doing this on the podcast because I know maybe a dozen people watching the podcast live in San Diego.
Do you have to pay to get into the landfill?
No.
Oh, just only if you have stuff.
You go, if you make it there at some point, you go just around the right side there, and there's a lane that you don't have to go through the way stations, and you don't have to pay anything to go in. I think you do if you're bringing junk in.
Right.
But if anyone asks you, just go like, oh, I'm going to the taco shop, and they just go, yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
I have never been there, but I've heard. Have you ever gone to Stars and Stripes?
No.
I've heard Stars and Stripes is killer.
So what do you look for? Like, what are some highlighted details that you look for in a taco shop?
So, there's certain qualities of things. There's certain that are just my preference, and I have found that some places do things better than others.
And there's certain dishes that you can use to just gauge.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to get at. Is for me, and a lot of people, especially like LA.
Have you ever had the tacos in LA?
I think Tex-Mex people, they're all gonna like cringe a little when I say this, but to me, that hallmark dish is shredded beef taco. If your hard shell isn't good, if your beef is like too wet, I'm out.
And when you get hard shell tacos here at taco stands, it's not like a Taco Bell hard shell. It's not that Doritos taco shell.
Oh no,
it is a corn tortilla that has been fried in shop. They dip it in the oil and they fold it and they fry it. And then they'll do the shredded beef inside of it. Yeah. And I can confirm Steve is a lover of this genre of taco. I've seen him order it many times.
That is my go-to.
My family growing up would make that style of taco at home.
Yeah.
They would fry the tortilla and make their own shells. I
think doing that type of taco well is harder than doing like a carne asada taco. Like I love carne asada. I love carnitas taco. Carnitas, I think, is my other benchmark food.
The other style of taco in San Diego is very much like a Baja, Tijuana, the soft street taco style thing where it's
the LA street taco.
It's a soft, fresh corn tortilla. Yeah. Sometimes it's smaller, like a street taco, and sometimes it's decent size. But it's this soft corn tortilla style taco. Yeah. And so if you're imagining a Taco Bell taco in any of this conversation, that you're imagining it wrong. Yeah. There's a place for that. There's a place.
Oddly enough, now you say that, and I've never thought about it. The ingredients are very different. Like what's on the inside is very different. But the Jack in the Box taco is kind of the most being an authentic San Diego taco experience than Taco Bell, Del Taco, any of that Ortega shit.
I mean, but I look at
but we don't do. But like ground beef is not a San Diego
right.
Like that.
You don't find that at local taco shops.
Yeah. It's just in Jack in the Box tacos because it's that meat's barely meat.
That's a very Tex-Mexy sort of influence as well. So there's certain things that I use to.
Yeah. What are your benchmarks?
One benchmark is like to figure out like it's just different dishes. A place has good carnitas if you can tell that it was fried in oil a little bit. Like if you get that char, that caramelization on one side, it's like this was in a pan with oil and they did the whole thing. A lot of times you get carnitas and it'll just be like, it's some sort of steamed pulled pork. Yeah. They did the seasonings but they didn't commit to getting that crust on it. That crust is really where it's at.
They threw a pork shoulder into a pot and they've been boiling it for the last since they opened up. It's
still delicious.
Good, yeah.
It is still. I've never had bad carnitas.
Oh, I have.
When it gets that crust on it, like that, it's so good.
I've had bad carnitas from Cotijan. Usually their carnitas is pretty good, but
I don't expect the Cotijan is a convenience location at this point. Like a California burrito is a really solid benchmark, but I think you could pull that back a little bit and just go a carne asada burrito is a real serious benchmark, and it's a real low bar. Like you have to be really bad to not make a good carne asada burrito, and I think that says a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like if it's dry at all, what did you do? If it's too wet, what the hell? Why is this soup? But you want that like inch of grease at the bottom. If you don't have that, then there's something wrong, you know, whether or not the cheese gets melted or things like that. All the tortillas in San Diego are pretty much on par with each other. I've never had a bad tortilla.
I feel like a lot of places are kind of all sourcing from the same like three.
It's whoever's making for Porky Lands. I think it's all the same place. Yeah. This is such a like local conversation, but who cares? It's the summer. We're having fun.
One of the things that I'll say, like you mentioned carne asada, I feel like, and again, this is a thing that I kind of think separates San Diego and maybe a West Coast thing from something like Tex-Mex. If I eat carne asada and I think, oh, wow, this is really good steak, then it's not carne asada. Like, to me, carne asada is not steak.
It's not supposed to be that drives me a little nuts. And it's good every time. It's good every time I get a steak style dish of carne asada from a restaurant, like a sit down restaurant or something like that. It's good. Like when it is like the you know, like the skirt steak or the flap steak or whatever, it's marinated really nice and cut, and there's still a little pink in there. That's delicious. Of course, it's a steak.
Oh yeah.
But the San Diego burrito taco shop carne asada it's this very thin cut piece of meat, and it's not a premium piece of steak by any measure. Who knows what it's coming out of? There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like it's not a steak. It is almost lunch meat. How thin it is. It's almost like a Philly cheesesteak, and the way that it's diced up pretty small. So it's like you don't actually have to chew the stuff. You can just swallow it.
Whenever I see a big piece of the Lolita's carne asada, it looks like it's been tenderized. I don't know if they do like hammer tenderize it,
or they run it through a thing, you know.
But it looks like, and so like again, that's where
it's a thin.
It almost doesn't look like beef anymore. Whereas a lot of places when they do carne asada, you're like, oh, this is clearly, like you said, like a flank steak or whatever.
Right.
Like this looks like you cooked a steak and then you cut it up.
Right. It's like a skirt steak or a flat iron. I almost wonder
if that's what the difference is, whether or not they cook, like places that cut it before they cook versus places that cut it after they cook. But I don't actually know how Lolita's cooks theirs. I just know what the output is different than a lot of other places.
Right. Well, what carne asada is this marinated thin slice of beef that, and then at these taco shops, they either they put it in the full piece on the flat top, or they scoop the diced up meat that's pre-diced up, and they just sear it on the grill, and then they put it in a burrito that's about this big, and with a little bit of pico, fresh salsa, and a little bit of cheese and a little bit of guac, and you're off to the races.
So that's where I was going to say,
it's a tube of beef, and it's usually like these days it's like $10.
I'm glad you picked out or went with the carne asada burrito, because I think the California burrito has so much variation shop to shop.
It does, and it's like can be so subjective.
Yeah. Whereas I think that, like you said, like the to me a carne asada burrito is carne asada, pico, maybe some places do like the pico guac combo, but usually it's just like carne asada pico. I don't even know if most places really do cheese.
I think there's usually a little bit of cheese,
maybe like cotija cheese,
right,
like
but
just a light.
But there's usually guac in there. It kind of goes like 60-40 with sour cream, and I always order without.
Yeah.
And
I think most places I've been do not put sour cream on a carne asada burrito.
Dude, I got one a while ago from a shop that consistently tells me and you that they don't put sour cream on the burrito, so don't tell them not to put it on there. I got sour cream on my burrito because I didn't say it.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
California burrito. I'm a little pickier with. Again,
It's the fries.
I'm like a very simple.
So California burrito is a carne asada burrito, only they throw a bunch of French fries in there
Yeah.
with it. And it usually definitely has cheese.
Yeah. So those are the 3 core ingredients:
Right.
carne asada, fries, cheese. In my opinion, in I think a lot of people's opinion.
Well, it usually has pico in there too.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think most places do pico.
In California?
Pico's a later addition.
All right.
Pico's a later addition. I do not.
This is serious business on a guitar podcast.
I prefer my California burrito without pico.
So when
Sour cream, yes. Guac, maybe. My wife, she substitutes guacamole in and takes sour cream out. I usually leave sour cream in and don't add the guac because I'm not going to pay an extra $2.
So I used to have a job up north in San Marcos, and there was a Mexican shop up there. And at that time, California burritos hadn't made it that far north, and at least not to that
Right.
shop, so it wasn't on the menu. So I had to teach the lady at the shop because I was going there 3 times a week for my lunch breaks, like what a California burrito was and how to make it. And I had to special order it. And
But they had fries?
They did have fries because they had carne asada fries have been on the menu of every taco shop for 30 years now. So they have fries, but I would tell her like, oh, here's how you make it. Here's the things. And I started getting like a little power hungry, and I was like, I can just tell them what to put in a burrito. Oh my gosh. And I started having them throw refried beans in there. Okay. And so I was having a variation of a California burrito that also had refried beans in it.
Sounds terrible, but
it was good. And I just now remembered that 18 years later or something like that. And I'm wondering if that's on the menu now. Like if this taco shop now thinks that California burritos have refried beans in them because some weird white dude came in and ordered it.
There's a place on Miramar. There's DeSoto's, there's Rigo's. I forget what the name of this other place is. But when you order carne asada fries there, like it's basically a freaking 7-layer dip.
Yeah.
With fries in it. So it's got beans. It's got.
Oh yeah, that's how they are.
It's got all of that.
Oh man, I like the Al Pastor fries these days, like because it's.
So when you get that from the Al Pastor fries from Cotillon, it has beans in it.
No, but I wish it did.
Oh, interesting.
Al Pastor fries with beans would be killer.
So here we go. I'm gonna find this link. I'm going to put a link in the
I'm having fun going off topic with you, Steve. This is great.
I'm going to put a link to the California Burrito documentary.
Ooh.
In the description. Guys, check it out.
There's a whole documentary about it.
It's like a 10 or 15 minute video.
Right.
They go back, they interview like one of the Birdos. They interview they interview one of the Birdos. They interview, I think the guy who owns JV's, which I've never been to, but is one of the classic San Diego shops. And they interview the Flar fans who own Lolitas. And it kind of tells a story. The California burrito is a burrito that nobody knows who created it first.
It's a true local food.
There is a consensus. The story is that there was a taco shop across the street from a McDonald's. Possibly the Mission Beach Roberto's might have been the first place, which I don't think is a Roberto's anymore. That basically surfers would come out of the water. They'd go to a McDonald's or they go to someplace that had fries. They'd just only order fries and then they'd take it to the taco shop and say, I want a carne asada burrito, but put these fries in it. So the place didn't make fries. People would bring fries from like a fast food place and say, I want this in a burrito. But at least in the documentary, it's pretty much consensus that Lolita's was the first place to put it on their menu.
Okay. There you go.
So
this is serious business, guys.
very serious, but it's a cool, like it's
it's
a nice little look into local food.
It's also a really interesting scene that we have here because a lot of places have great Mexican.
Yeah.
San Diego is on the map of being one of those places, but it's unique in that a lot of what we have is because one family opened a couple shops and then employees of those shops open their own
Oh,
shops,
yeah.
and
For sure.
so on and so on. And now we have all these variations of this original model.
Two cousins hated each other,
Right.
but they both got inheritance. So.
And so there's these independent, like, and micro chains where it's like, oh, there's 3 of these, and it's one family who runs some sort of thing. But all these little independent shops and micro chains and family operations that are all hyper local, and they all adjust their menus with little trends, and you end up with these menus that have 100 items on them and stuff, because over the years, like, locals have come up with all these variations that they want, and there's just something beautiful about the scene, and it's even though, like, they're all independent organizations, there is a definite scene and style to it.
Yeah.
Which is really compelling.
It's interesting how, like, delis do that too. Like, every deli has, and I don't know why, but every deli has like a San Diego sandwich. And at most places it's like cream cheese and turkey.
And avocado.
And something like that, right? And I don't know why that is. And I don't know why they're all the same, but it's probably something like that. Like, oh, can you make this? Oh, it's
right.
This other
and then you
place
come to
has
San
it.
Diego, and our San Diego food is this greasy 4-pound burrito that's full of French fries and guacamole and cheese and flat top seared steak.
Yeah, something that I kind of got into, and I don't watch them all the time, but I think they're really neat. Is there's a few like food YouTubers in Southern California that are like they're smaller. Like they're not like your Alton Browns or whatever. Those I guess those guys aren't YouTubers.
I mean, we got Sam
right?
the cooking guy.
Right, but I'm saying like I wouldn't even say they're like a Sam the cooking guy. They're guys like us.
Right, totally.
Who are just like, hey, like we could literally do this. Like, hey, say we're going to take you to our 5 favorite carne asada burrito places, and you just go shop to shop. So I've watched a couple for San Diego.
Whereas we could do one a week, like every California burrito in San Diego, and it would last 3 years.
Yeah, the video that I watched was like a guy who just goes to like the 5 best taco shops,
right?
And then he like admits right away, like, I'm not going to go to the 5 best. I'm going to go to like my favorite and 4 others that I've heard have like really good reputation. He calls ahead, so he actually gets to talk to the owners and stuff.
That's the reason I don't do this stuff. I don't want to do that.
But where I'm going is I have to imagine like a lot of cities have this, particularly like with either a major food. If you have like, I should say like any city that has independent food. So one of the ones they did for San Diego, and that's kind of more interesting, is pizza. San Diego doesn't have like its own pizza. San Diego's a notoriously bad pizza city. We have a bad reputation for pizza.
Here's what I would observe. We have all the normal chains. Your Papa John's,
right.
Your Pizza Huts, your Domino's, your Little Caesars, that sort of stuff. I'm trying to think of bad pizza that we have. We don't, like you said, we don't have a style, and so everywhere's kind of swinging for the fences in different directions.
Yeah,
and I think when people think of California style pizza or
unfortunately they do think of CPK.
They're thinking of the chain California Pizza Kitchen, which is an
doesn't
airport food chain. Like, that doesn't represent any of us. Like, I'll have a barbecue chicken pizza, sure.
Well,
but it's like it doesn't represent the locality here. There's nothing about that that's like, oh yeah, that's the pizza the way my grandma used to make it. No. Some company came up with that and they call themselves California Pizza Kitchen. Like, that's not a local flavor. It just exists and has our name on it.
So these guys, when they did it, they went to Bronx, of course, Bronx Pizza. They went to Buona Forchetta. They went to
people are still listening to this guitar podcast, not knowing what's going on.
They went to Friendly's for the hamburger at Friendly's.
Okay.
So my whole point is these are like YouTubers that focus on small food places. A lot of times, hole in the wall places in San Diego. They're Southern Californians, maybe not necessarily San Diegans. If you have that in your town, like, hey, yeah, you could just find the top YouTuber who will tell you like what the best Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia is. But here's this guy who, like, he's only got 100,000 subs. and he like specializes. He's not just doing Philly cheesesteak. He's also done Philly pizza.
He's doing 100,000 subs.
Philly Indians. Like
He's a
whatever.
sub channel, sub sandwiches.
He's doing, or like whatever, like for your town that you want to watch and be like, yeah, I've been to some of these places. Post those in the comments. I want to watch them. I want to know what the best taco shop in Cleveland is.
Yeah, something I just thought about is you were mentioning how like places will have like, here's the San Diego sandwich or here's the California whatever, and it's always something that's health food adjacent. Think of any local food, like a local specialty food that is a healthy food, that is a lighter option. It's always Philly cheesesteak, Chicago pizza. It's always some giant Reuben or something like that. It's always something heavy and satisfying and fatty and carby and starchy and cheesy and oily. That is what people, like actual people, crave, and what becomes like a local fare. Like in Hawaii, you think of Hawaii, like, oh, coconuts and pineapple and fresh fish. Their like thing is a hamburger patty on rice covered in brown gravy.
What's that called? That sounds delicious.
The Loco Moco.
Oh, that's Loco Moco.
And then spam.
I was going to say spam subi.
Yeah, where spam instead of fish wrapped around rice with a little bit of seaweed, and they eat spam sushi.
Yeah,
like that's what cultures come together on and designate as local fare, as like their local specialty is these rich, fatty, heavy, starchy, salty sorts of things.
If you are watching this still, an hour and 16 in, holy hell.
Sorry.
And you are over the age of like 30, you probably remember a show called Man vs. Food.
Right.
I will probably, until the day that I die, be a little irked that when Adam Richman came to San Diego to do a food challenge, he did the fucking broken yolk omelet challenge.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Come on.
The broken yolk is fine.
Like every town's got an omelet. Broken yolk is just like any other hipster fucking breakfast place.
It's not even hipster. It's
you're right. I think at the time it was like kind of hipster.
It's trying to be local breakfast Applebee's now.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my gripe. But I want to hear. I want to know what.
Do you know of any other San Diego food challenges? Because
at the time, he could have done the TJ hot dog challenge at Lucha Libre.
Oh.
He did go there and I think have a TJ hot dog, but he could have done that wasn't like an eat.
It was eat more than the last person.
The problem is it was just eat more than the last person, and I think typically he does like the eat set amount.
I feel like it was still pretty low. Like there hadn't been any pro eaters
at the time that he had done. At the time he went there, I think the record was in the teens.
Right, it was like 19. Yeah. What's this? A TJ hot dog is not a regular hot dog.
No.
If you don't know, okay. One more food thing: a Tijuana hot dog is it's an LA thing mostly, but it's in San Diego as well now.
Yeah.
It's a hot dog wrapped in bacon, and the bacon is cooked to be crisp on the edge of on the outside of the hot dog, and they put it in a hot dog bun, obviously, and then they cover it in fajita vegetables like griddle seared onions and peppers and garlic and stuff like that. They cover it in that, and then mayo, ketchup, and mustard, and like spicy peppers in there, and it's just it's San Diego's Chicago dog. It's Southern California's Chicago dog, and it's the sort of thing that you eat and you taste. You get it when you're drunk. You get like 2 of these things on the street outside the bar, and then you wake up in the morning still tasting it in your mouth, tasting the peppers and the garlic and the bacon and the mustard, and it's just like. It's a good flavor to wake up to. Like that's another like local fare. That's legit.
Have you ever been to the taco stand?
I have. So it was good, but like every time I drive by one, I'm like, "Whoa, a line! I'm not going."
So both. I'm going to name 2 places that are delicious, but
they're more of a
complaint. Taco stand and City Tacos. Both are great. City Tacos is a more like hipstery thing. Taco stand is just like the hot commodity right now, and both of them. Whenever I've gone there, I'm like, "Wow, this is really good." but I feel bougie, and I don't
Yeah.
want to feel bougie when I'm
But it
eating
is
a
really
taco.
good, and they're making the tortillas there.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can
taco
get,
stand's super legit, and it's
you can get-
unfortunate that I
yeah.
feel bougie when I
but
go there.
that's who they attract is that scene, and
mean,
like
the first
and then
one in
they
San-
line up around the block in some fan. It's because
Yeah.
where they put them. They
The
put them in
first
fancy
two in
pants
San
places.
Diego were Encinitas and La Jolla, like La Jolla Cove.
Right, which is like rich, like legit rich people town, like yeah, very different tax bracket than the rest of San Diego. So
This ad was sent by Peter Olson.
Thank you, Peter
Sorry,
Olson.
Peter, that we took
put you
so
at the
long.
back end of a weird episode, didn't we?
The body and the plate are from my Fender Stratocaster dated October 13th, 1966. As you can see, it has been modified
Yeah, a little bit.
for weight purposes.
Oh, that's for weight. Okay.
Curious about its value, open to offers. Regards, Leaf. This is translated. So is this a picture of the email from
Yeah.
Peter Olson?
Yeah.
Why is it called Sweet? Oh, here we go. Gitarre, Salges, Copes, Beats, Kroppen, Och, Platten, Arfron, Mean, Fender, Stratocaster, Dotterod, 13, Oct, 1966. Some scenes, what the that's a lot of G's. For Victon Skull, Nifikin, Pa, Varde, Evbud.
You don't need to read the phone number.
Leaf. So yeah, this is a 1966 Fender Stratocaster.
How
and
is
it
that
looks like an
possible?
amoeba.
I'm trying to. Did they add wood, or were they able to really achieve this shape just by cutting away? Yeah, I was trying to get a bead on like where my strats are at an angle across the wall from here. I think they added wood.
There's so much going on here. It's got 4 pickups.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Like, did I do this? I don't remember doing this. That's the sort of thing I would have done.
Why do you think this is Swedish?
Because that's what he said
Oh, okay.
in the email. I cut out the part where he had a personal message to us.
Okay. This is also.
I think they must have added wood to the body. If that's a 1966 body somewhere hidden in there, that's a damn tragedy. But
Did you look at the neck?
I weirdly like this. Yeah, I did look
It's
at
a
the neck.
freaking temper tuned neck.
Yeah, temper tuned preps on there.
Or whatever.
So whoever did this is a tinkerer. Like, and we only have so many pixels to really look at it. Like it's really faint in there, but that is definitely a temper tuned neck. There's a lot going on here.
4 pickups. This is I think if you buy
And
the story, it's $1,000. If you don't buy the story, it's like $600.
We don't actually have a price on this, huh? We don't
No,
know, we don't know
because
what they're
according
asking.
to the translation, he says curious about its value, open to offers.
I would have no. It's like even if you could confirm, if you could prove that parts of that body were from 1966 Fender Stratocaster, what value is left in that? It's all the value is gone with this reshape of the body. It doesn't hurt. But that detail doesn't hurt the value of what this actually is. You know, it adds to the story.
Yeah.
And it makes this weird guitar more compelling, but it doesn't make it more valuable, but it confirms its actual value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, that car that, you know, like it crashed and it has a story behind it.
Yeah.
Because it is associated with some, like a celebrity took it for a test drive and then decided not to buy it. That story is cool. It doesn't change the fact that it's a 1992 piece of crap that shouldn't be on the road anymore. Like, it's still worth $500, but that story makes it feel like a nice $500.
Right.
You know, like
it's worth more than, you know.
It confirms its actual value.
Like, think about your car.
Right.
but it's been driven by you versus your car if you gave Rob Machado a ride one time.
This is the car that I had that ride with Rob Machado that one time. Like intrinsic value, but the fact that it could have a chunk of wood in there from 1966 Fender Strat gives it intrinsic value to a wide group of people, but not enough to change the value of the object. But to confirm it, does that concept make sense to confirm the value but not increase it?
Sense.
Because
again,
the value of this guitar is one, that it's weird.
Yeah.
2, that it looks totally functional. 3, that it has a weird detail that you don't usually get to try. I've never got to try one. A guitar with a tempered fretboard, with the tempered frets that are all wiggly like worms all across the fretboard, supposedly giving you like perfect even intonation across your entire fretboard. That sounds compelling. It also sounds like weird to play. It looks weird to play to me, but I've heard that it's fine. If this was I'm going to put it between $500 and $600 guitar on local Craigslist, I would be sitting there thinking about it.
Okay.
I wouldn't be immediately tempted, but I'd be like, can I find enough value in this for me to curiosity spend $600, $575 for a very odd guitar.
Right.
You know, like, because then you're kind of competing with like used Eastwoods and other production guitars that are doing a weird thing. But this is homebrew weird in a somewhat delightful way. So that's my take. What do you think?
I mean, I think you're spot on. I think like it's interesting to me that he's just putting it out there like, I don't really know what I should ask for this. Right. Because I think so many people would be like, well, you know, this is a 66 Strat body and the neck, you know, 66 Strat body is like $5,000 and this neck was, you know, temper tuning frets, or, you know,
we don't know,
$1,000 neck, so I want $11,000.
We don't know if he did that to the fretboard. We don't know if he bought it that way. In a conversation with the seller, you could find that out, and that could change your idea of the value. I'm not going to value that as anything without knowing specifics about it, you know. But what was I about to say? A 66 Stratocaster body doesn't mean very much if it's not recognizable or usable as a 69 Stratocaster body. You're not going to track down a 66 Stratocaster neck and put it on this and then think that you are getting the experience of playing an intact 1966 Fender Stratocaster. Yeah. Like it's that chicken has flown the coop. It's over. You're not going to get that experience out of this object. Like you'll get the experience of maybe parts of the wood are aged like that, but it's not a Stratocaster anymore.
This does not have the logo, but this looks a lot like an off-the-shelf True Temperament retrofit.
Really?
Like I said, so I don't know if it's an earlier
But we
one.
have so few pixels here, Steve.
No, I know. But it's like I'm looking at the pattern. The
bulb
pattern.
is a little different on there.
The bulb is a little different. What I actually wanted to see here is how much one of these necks cost.
I always assumed that True Temperament had to do with like the neck on the body, and like you have to figure out your string gauge, and like it's dialed in specifically to an individual guitar. Maybe that's my own headcanon, and then that's not real. The thought of an off the shelf replacement neck with tempered frets sounds weird to me. Maybe it's totally fine. Maybe it's totally possible.
So a paddle Strat would be $560. A already shaped headstock is $660. So that's kind of, you're looking at say $550 to $650.
You can't upsell this guitar that much on this because like the guitar has to have a neck on it, and it's one of those features. It's like, well, the person buying it didn't necessarily want that. They just want a guitar, so that's an upgrade or a feature that doesn't necessarily command much extra value on the used market for a parts guitar. You might be able to claim it ups the value like $200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with this neck and this shape and everything else, I think you could.
But then you have to find a buyer that's interested in that.
Argument that this is $1,000. Like you could list this for you could argue your way to $1,000, but I think you're right. I think that interest price is like you're basically selling the neck as a used neck and everything else as used everything else. And so you're probably looking at
The
like
body's an oddity.
$600 to $800 for an actual selling price.
Yeah. And I do got to say, there was a time when I cut a pick guard for a Strat that had the no lower horn thing going on. And at the time, I was like, this is really cool. I wish I could see this more often. But every time I've seen it since, I've been like, that's not very cool.
Oh, this just looks like a blob.
The Strat pick guard needs the lower horn to balance it out. Like, it doesn't tickle my eye in the right way.
Wasn't it OLP that was selling those, and they always just look.
There's been a couple brands over the years, usually budget brands, but I think there's been a couple premium brands that have done the no lower horn pickguard variation.
It's hard to pull off and make it look good.
If you're going to do it, segment it. Still give me the lower horn, but if you want that swoop in there and you want to play with that swoop, I understand it, but give me a segment on the lower pickguard because it does balance it out.
Like the Talbot.
Yeah.
Those don't have a pickguard at all.
All right, what's your vote, Steve, for ad of the week?
I think this is a really tough week.
Adventurer Club.
I think this was a really tough week.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. It was the Double Dragon, the Electric Telly. I mean, they are all really good, and the Sweedocaster.
I'm going Double Dragoncaster.
I had the most fun talking about the Sweedocaster.
The Sweedocaster was good.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would be happy with any of these winning.
Right. Okay, so are you Chris or Spin Doctors?
I'm going Chris.
Someone needs to tell the Spin Doctors that we're using their pick to decide things.
I went Chris last week, or last episode, or two episodes ago.
This is an official Spin Doctors pick that a viewer sent in because they are neighbors with the father of the singer, and he was able to get a pick. Okay, so you want?
I'm going Chris.
You want Chris? Chris is the electric Telecaster.
No, Chris is the Dragoncaster.
Oh, double Dragon. Chris is Double Dragons.
Yep.
And Spin Doctor's side is Sweedocaster. I kind of want this one. I'm feeling a little competitive. Oh, Steve got it!
How much do you want it, Ryan?
Not enough to fight you.
Oh, okay.
Dave Santander, congratulations. Steve is going to email, if you don't email him first, to get you a $25 digital certificate to the retailer, restaurant, I don't know, whatever of your choice. What other types of businesses are there? There's retailers and there's restaurants. I guess there's services.
Digital gift. Yeah.
If there's a service.
If your local Molly Maid has a digital gift card, you can do that too.
Dude, treat yourself to a professionally cleaned house, professionally tidied up. That would be actually wild. You know what?
I don't think $25 will get you that much from a cleaning service.
Then maybe it'll get you. They'll wash your dishes.
This is at least, I think, the second time that
get someone to wash your dishes.
David has won, though. So, all right, this song.
There's no rules against winning more than once.
No, there's not.
If you send good ads, you're gonna win again, probably.
In the first 2 months, we had one person I think win 3 times.
Right.
This was sent by William.
You could potentially make a living sending us ads.
No, I don't know about that.
$25 a week at a time.
He says, "Hi, we were really excited that you played our song on your podcast. You asked us to send more, so here's another one from our album. It's called Hot Tires, Fast Blood.
Ooh.
You can stream our album Shark Thresher on all streaming services.
They've sent us stuff before, and I know I'm going to like this already.
Instagram at shark_the_band.
Buckle up, I'm stoked.
So here we go. Oh, was
Killer.
your prediction correct? It was
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, correct. I bet the guitarist listens to Low Straight Jackets.
I don't know what that means.
It's a surf band.
I know Low Straight's Jackets.
But there's that
Low Straight Jackets. That's like a thing they do.
That's a very Low Straight Jackets phrasedy sort of thing. Like, if they don't listen to him, they should. How about that? Great track. Thanks for sending it. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Stay grounded.